welcome, Fins Nation, here at Five Reasons Sports with the Inside Leverage, fellas. I'm your host, Fins Mechanic, here with Wally and French. French, welcome back. I know you had a quick hiatus, but glad you're back here. Now, before we begin, I just want to remind y'all to please set up your Prize Picks, the official fantasy partner of Five Reasons Sports. We know it's illegal in the state of Florida. So as a reminder, once you play your first $5 bet, PrizePicks will give you an additional $50 to play with no additional cost. So remember, use the promo code 5, that's FIVE. Use that promo code, place that $5 bet, you get an extra 50. You all set up. Listen, last two games of the season, get some money in before the season's over, and then you're setting up for the playoffs. Then it really gets a little spicy, right? So remember, FIVE for PrizePicks. Join in. It's really good. I promise you. Guys, what is going on? First of all, Wally, how you feeling? French, how you feeling? Welcome. We bite.
Back in the booth, back in the coop. Wally, how you do? Wally's all choked up. He's all choked up.
He's excited. The last two games, we're on the cusp
here,
of the
though.
9-8. There you go. Yeah, there we go.
You gotta fight through the screen. You gotta fight through it like John New had to.
Wow.
You'll get blocked on the line like by Smythe. And you gotta fight through like John New did to get the number one spot.
Oh man. But Wally, man, how was everyone's holiday? First of all, man, welcome back. I know we did a lot of shopping, a lot of gift wrapping.
I see y'all with new things on. I'm just sitting over here, man. Some of y'all got new watches and all that.
Oh, ain't no new watch, nah, man.
New chains and all that. You know, I see y'all.
Mm-hmm.
I'm over here just chilling, man. You know, I'm vibing. I had a good time, man.
Hey, listen, when you buy $1,000 shoes at a pop, you know what I mean? You gotta calm down a little bit.
Every day is Christmas, right, friends? Every day
is easy. Who's buying shoes like that?
How Big X the plug say he stepped more than he walked? Hello.
Yo, could we talk football, bro? Because we gonna be out here lying about my shoe expenses. The IRS gonna watch us and be like, yo, this guy hit $1,000 shoes. That's crazy.
And football indeed. Listen, so here we go. We have the injury report. We are official. Looks like we have two guys out for the upcoming matchup, Week 17. Kendall Fuller is out, and Anthony Walker, linebacker, is out for the Fins. A lot of questionables, man. Teron, Eskridge, Tyreek, Poyer, even Tua, Waddle, they are all questionable for the game. Likely will play, so it is what it is. But for the Browns, some key guys that are out. Njoku is officially out. Their defensive end, Ogbo, I can't pronounce the name, so I'm not even going to try it. Ogbo, he is out. And then there's receiver, Cedric Tillman is also out for the game. So those three guys are out for the Browns. That is your injury report. Guys, what do you think? Any guy, anybody in particular that's noticeable for either side heading to this matchup on Sunday?
I mean, the Kendall Fuller, I mean, that's not a, you know what I mean? That's not just a, you know, he's been one of the more reliable cornerbacks that we've had all season. So, you know, that I mean, as far as when he's been available. So, you know, availability is more than anything. So, I mean, a lot of those, you know, that's going to miss, even with the questionables. You know, the questionables going to play. It'd be good to see Waddle get back out there catching that biscuit. So, I mean, but that Njoku being out for them, that's a good one, especially with Walker being out. That's a push because, you know, historically that tight end is giving us that work, pause, and Njoku, he about that action, boss.
Yeah, especially for that young quarterback who will be facing. So, you know, they always say tight end is the quarterback's best friend. Wally, what do you think in your mind? Any key notables that are out in this game that, you know, that you're kind of want to see what happens?
I just think the Browns are a franchise in turmoil, so it doesn't really matter who's playing or not. They're really just they're playing for a better position, draft pick position. They have to deal with they just came out and had the contract renegotiations with Watson and stuff like that. So they're shutting down Njoku, so they're not really serious about football. But this is the NFL, and they game is Sunday, so you got to respect your opponent. But like French mentioned earlier, Njoku not being available eases the loss of Anthony Walker, which it wasn't really too solid covering tight ends either. So it's just like he said, it's a push because so it works out for us. But besides that, man, we gonna beat them boys.
Yeah, man. Certainly for them, it's a more evaluation of the roster, who's gonna probably stay, who they're gonna let go. So I expect them to play hard, but I know they're not gonna go too crazy because I know they want to probably end the season healthy and kind of head to the season as a reset and kind of refresh their mind. So, with that being said, guys, what are your keys to the game? Specifically, three in your mind. Wally, I'll start with you. What are your keys to the game heading to the Sunday matchup?
Fundamentals of football, man. Just fundamentals. Tackle, man. For crying out loud, man. Wrap up and tackle, man. Just the defense it's been solid, but I think we could be a lot more. We could be dominant if these guys were able to just wrap up these guys. Pause. The effect of this defense. We have players and or getting positive like things. So tackle and blocking, bro. Just tackle and blocking.
What I would say to that mechanic, and when I tell you the good Lord don't miss when he said the defense, because the defense hasn't been a problem all season. I would say the keys to this game is going out there on the offensive side of the ball and executing, because we've seen from games past that the defense will give you a respectable game, and the offense will wait to the end of it. They'll wait till the third quarter with 2 minutes left to finally start putting up points in the game where the defense have kept it respectable. Jason Sanders keeps you honest with 9 points. The other teams put up 21. Now the offense is putting it together, and now they're putting together drives. So for me, this season is going to be the story of the offense and an incomplete job it's had. And for we'll get into this later about kind of the list of groceries, but I'll say for the offensive side of the ball for this game's key to this game, man, the offense doing what they got to do, man. Come out and execute, man. Just come out and give me 14 points before halftime. Like, that ain't a lot to ask.
Yeah, man. Certainly, just start off fast. I would agree as a part of my keys to the game. Most definitely for sure. I'm interested to see how this combination of Liam and Wynn going out there. I know a lot of people are questioning it, but you got to remember now, Wynn is playing his second game in Week 17, so he's still getting kind of acclimated. I know most don't like Liam, and I'm sure at some point Wynn is going to take over throughout this game as more reps. He did last time, even though it was a close one, but he did get more reps. So as the game goes by, he's gonna get the more reps, and we're gonna feel comfortable. But I agree. I think starting fast, kind of putting the game away early, is a recipe for success. That'll allow the defense to execute and force the Browns offense to try to match our score for score. That leads to sacks, that leads to turnovers, that leads to just a bunch of success for the defense. So just start fast, execution. I like what Wally was mentioning there, and just play like you're playing in the playoffs, man. I know we're on a less likely chance of getting there, but a chance is still a chance. You play like you're gonna get to the playoffs. 1-0 is the goal, so let's get it. So, anything else? Who, as far as who owes you money this game? Anybody in particular, French, that you kind of want to see take it to that next step, in your opinion?
Owes me money?
Mm-hmm.
By the way, Alec Engel owed me money and he paid up, boy. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, sir. He did. I saw that. Yep.
What I will say is, Ogba, please see the collections agent. We've been trying to reach you, Mr. Ogba. The money you owe is in collections because Agba owes me money, and Agba owes me
I
so much
remember
money. Listen, relax. All I'm saying is
It's
Agba
crazy. You
owes me
remember
so
that?
much money.
Crazy.
He in collections.
That's
When
crazy.
I get off the show, I'm gonna tweet Agba and let him know he owes me so much
You
money.
need to pay us. You owe us money from Agba. You need to pay us.
Listen. I don't owe you. Agba owes you.
What?
Hey, but hold on. Mechanic, tell him to call Agba.
No, don't call mechanic.
Well, with the Janu bet, it might be a push.
Oh,
It might be a push.
What are you talking about? There is you lost two. That's two bets you just lost. You sit Jonathan. He's breaking records right now, son. What are you talking about?
And who you gonna give that credit to? Chris Greer?
Me.
Chris Greer?
Chris Greer for sure.
Oh, so let's talk about it. I'm tired of playing nice right now, bro. Because listen, now that mechanic gone, I'm the captain of this ship.
Oh my God!
You know what we're going.
You know what,
Wally? You know what we're going to right now, Wally. You know what we're gonna do right now, Wally. Now that mechanic is gone,
he's right.
Listen,
he's trying to sabotage you.
Listen, that's Durham Smythe. I'm Jonu Smith. Look at me now.
You're not Jonu Smith. You're not Jonu Smith.
I don't know why we're talking about Jonu Smith and Agba as a wash. You both lost. You lost the bet. You lost both of the bet.
Listen, we still have a.
Thank you.
We still have a chance of making the playoffs. So listen, just like Sealer, and I want a Sealer bet this year. Let's go. But mechanic, can we get on with the show? Because I'm ready to get it popping.
Listen, let Wally get his owes him money, and then we can get to the groceries because I'm very interested in this conversation. Wally, in your opinion, who owes you money in this game? You want to see makes a factor and gets a dub for us.
You know what, man? You know what I mean? Because I'm tired of you guys talking down on my dog, you know what I'm saying? So I need my dog to come to the congregation and step up, Mr. Javon Holland. You know what I'm saying? You owe me money. Let's show these
still on the team.
Wow. You guys flip on these players so easily. You guys are fake. You guys are fake members of these gangs. Like me, I die for mine. You feel me? You out here talking about he's still on the team. Of course he's still on the team, making sacrifices, being a great player. Lay somebody out, had a concussion. Like you didn't see that. You didn't see that tackle. Clean tackle. Took that boy out. But you out here disrespecting these guys. So yeah, Javon Holland owes me money, and not because of the crap you guys are saying. It's because I want him to display his greatness out here. He has 2 more games plus the playoffs because we making the playoffs. Crazy things have happened. It starts on Saturday.
You know who got some credits in the machine, mechanic? Remember when I talked about Benito at the beginning of the season?
Bro, could you just do who owes you money and stop? You taking victory laps?
I already told you Agba's in collections.
So whatever, bro. We're not trying to hear you anymore, man.
Listen, he's trying to find as much wins as he can. I understand when you're in a losing streak, you're desperate. Yeah, you're desperate. It's okay.
Now y'all out here talking Sealer Pro Bowl. I want to fight everybody. I want to fight the whole timeline.
So for me, who owes me money? I'm gonna say Jalen Waddle. I think Jalen Waddle coming back. I know he was injured. I think he's gonna come back and show us why he's gonna be the number 1 receiver for us in the future. So Jalen Waddle owes me money. He's gonna show out and he's gonna show up. So listen, I know without further ado, French, we're gonna talk about this grocery list because I know there's a lot that's been talked about in this topic. What's going on, Pender? What's going on, my boy? Listen, we went back and forth on who got the grocery list, who purchased it, who put the list and all that. So, French, I'm going to let you start the topic, and then we can kind of go from there. What do you want to talk about as far as?
Give me the solo. Give me the ISO.
I can't do the side. You can't do the ISO.
Ball up court.
Okay.
Ball up court. ISO. Check.
Go ahead.
You know, you get the check and you got to.
So don't give him the ISO. He's going to be just spewing. Nah.
Wally don't know nothing about that. I put the moves on Wally. We're gonna get the footage up later. But listen.
You just because you got a new chain and new jewelry.
Listen to me. We are gonna talk about you grocery store GMs. You all pick and choose when you want to give the GM praise. Jonu's doing good. Do you get that Chris Grills praise? No, it's Mike McDaniels in the offense. You grocery store GMs. When we told you all what needed to be done, and I've been hearing these posts about everybody wants to get rid of Chris Greer. Listen to me. If Chris Greer to me and Mike McDaniels is one like a marriage. You can't get rid of the other one without getting rid of the other one to me. Because you all could be like, oh, the groceries ain't what we want them to be. But guys, Chris Greer has to draw the straw somewhere. We ain't eating, if we talking about your regular household, you ain't eating out 4 to 5 times a week. By that second or third time you go to eat out that week, something's going to click in and be like, bro, we got to go check the refrigerator because we can't keep running up the tab. And that's what Chris Greer told Mike McDaniels. We going out shopping all the time when you want something, but we also went and got groceries. So, yeah, we picked up the Tyreek at the Whole Foods, and we picked up, but y'all can't sit here and tell me y'all don't want to eat what's in the refrigerator because you're telling me we got all these. We was at Publix the other day. Now it's Aldi's? Yeah. Somebody else talk to these people, bro. I'm done.
That is very disrespectful about Aldi's. They have the best pretzel and cream cheese, jalapeno. How dare they? Wally, do you have thoughts on that? On what French is saying? Because I'm still confused on the Greer versus McDaniel shopping list and what was asked for, what was got. In your opinion, what do you think about this?
The only thing that's gonna keep me from getting this great bars off is my computer lagging. So bear with me. Guys, a lot of us, we not
You're lagging, my boy.
Yeah, you're lagging, my boy.
So here's what I will say. I agree with you in the sense of you want to keep the two there because if you're gonna fire one, you're gonna fire the other. I get that. For me personally, I think keeping Greer and giving him that last shot with Mike is necessary so they can figure it out together. Because how I viewed it, and from looking at Twitter, from my thoughts, Greer transferred that 2019 investment in the offensive line and transferred it to McDaniel, right? And then McDaniel, on an interview, mentioned that Greer wanted an overhaul, the O-line. And he said, no, let's get receivers. At this point, with that investment you kept, at this point, I don't know what happened, what changed. Something should have been said as, hey, we need to continue investing in the O-line, even though we don't have a lot of picks because we went and got some premium guys, but the picks we have, we shouldn't invest in. So whose fault is that? I'm gonna blame it on both.
So
I'm blaming it on both.
So what you're saying is we went to the cookie aisle, we went and got cookies, we went and got the Oreos, we went and got all these things we liked that was gonna make us, you know what I mean? It felt good in the grocery store when you went and got these things. If you're telling me that Chris Greer handed over Mike McDaniels this 2019 offensive line, it was still Mike McDaniels, the head coach and the offensive play calling, sitting in these rooms knowing what he had. He sold us from Skylar Thompson, which is why I give the credit and the credence that he sold us that he could fix these guys. And a little bit of Mike McDaniels' hubris and thinking he's smart and can out scheme everything is also what got us in this position.
But so where does Greer come in this situation? Because I feel like you're putting it all on Mike. And is there any blame on Greer?
Can I if I may, I think you, bro, you gotta just You gotta let things play out.
I
And
agree.
I'm sick and tired of these people complaining about. Look, we've had this show. We talked about how Chris Greer is at fault,
Yeah, he
but
has faults.
he has his faults, and he has to be held accountable for his mistakes. But when people sit here and try to make this other opposite case that he's been wrong and so wrong, like, nah, really, he has a case to be out here and make a case that he's won, he's delivered in the midst of two rebuilds, two and a half. You really being book, if you're being honest, ownership that sabotaged him by taking away his first round draft pick. A bunch of coach doing cocaine and wilding out. A merchant head coach that fired his best. He couldn't work with Jim Caldwell. A lot of things that firing the one of the best offensive line coach and coaches in the league out of nowhere, and then he's thriving as well. So you could sit here off a tank. There's a bunch of things that Chris Greer has to maneuver around and still made it work within having his flaws. I could see him pick point and be like, oh man, he could have had Jonathan Taylor, Justin Jefferson, Tevon Diggs. Yes, you can say that, but you weren't in that room. You weren't in the scouting room. And I was telling one of my boys, like, look, the change that has to happen is we need to get to a point where our first rounders are contributors instead of our third rounders being gems. And that goes to like a Javon Holland, a Hunt, Devon A-Chain, you know what I mean? And we're still waiting on the Austin Jacksons and maybe the Cam Smiths and the Austin Jackson and the Liam Eichenbergs, those guys.
But Wally, let me ask you this: is the record on the GM though? Because as the GM, I'm giving my head coach everything he needs to be successful. And
But
you're supposed to
do we
bring
know
back to
Mike
me a
has sworn
return.
anatomy? Do we know that Mike has that power? Because wasn't it said that Mike had no cachet when he first got in here? So I believe that maybe this past season was the first season that he actually got to get his players. And this is the one time that when I told you guys that Chris Greer no longer has to sell himself to Ross. I think in the chain of command, Mike has leaped over Chris within Ross. So I think Greer has to show that he can work with Mike to Ross and Mike going forward, because Mike has been through the tea leaves. We knew that Mike wanted a guard. We knew that Mike wanted certain things, and Chris Greer said no. We knew that sermon such have been said that we could have kept Robert Hunt to the disagreement of Chris Greer. So imagine having having Robert Hunt, and win, and Robert Jones, and fighting for that instead of having what we had today. So a lot of that, look, two are guilt. So when French, you said you can't have without the other, you can't make the good case for Chris and the bad case for Mike. You got to make both cases.
But to that point, Wally, let's talk about fantasy football. When you add a win and you add these players, just like anything, it's subtracting from another something that you're gonna need to add up. So when you add a win and you add an AVG back to this roster, and you keep a Hunt or something, you know what I mean? What are you giving up? You're giving up a lot. You're giving up a John probably. You know what I mean? You're giving up some of these
Not
guys.
necessarily. You just got it.
But Wally,
you
fantasy
no,
shows
because
you when you pick up people in fantasy, you're picking them up on evaluation.
You allocated money in the wrong assets,
and at the wrong time as well.
And this is the team. Look,
so what was the wrong allocation of funds?
All right, let me
let's talk about it.
Let me cook. Shaq Barrett was the wrong asset. OBJ,
but that was dirt cheap money.
No. It's still millions. And hold on, and when you say dirt cheap money, you could get a dirt cheap guard better than what we have right now. So let's not act. And when you say those millions, imagine, don't think about a single transaction. Think about a whole budget and how you budget as a boss. So you're looking at the single transaction, but think about you cut from here, you cut from there to make it this, and you make it that, and you still have more money to cut the fat. You feel me? So
but let me ask you this.
Hold on. Let me give you some. you probably won't come back with. Let's say you don't come back with AVG, right? But you might come back. You might come back with a. Sorry, you don't come back with Robert Hunt. Well, you could come back with an AVG and company and a John O. Smith. You came back with nothing. That's negligence.
What would be the case that Chris Greer could make then? Because if everybody's saying, "Oh, Mike went to Chris and asked for upgrades," and Chris said no, the only way a GM is going to say no if funds and things have been allocated that, like you say, we don't know.
Allegedly.
But then, but mechanic, the job of the GM, my job is to give you, the head coach, everything you need so I keep a job.
Okay,
there's no point in the GM job where me not doing or giving you what you need to be successful jeopardizes my job. So
here's where I'm at. But here's where I'm at. Real quick. Here's where I'm at. Tea leaves can be tea leaves. All this other stuff can be said. What I know from what was actually said out the mouth of a coach was a GM wanted to change the O-line. He said no, and he gave what the coach wanted. As a GM, at what point do you say, nah, bro, I think we need to invest? Because the guys we have, I think I still want to evaluate them, but I don't think it's enough. That's my problem. Because we all agreed that Chris Greer is a guy that likes to collaborate, give the coaches what they want. But as a GM, do you accept that? Do you at some point have to put your foot down and say, we need to adjust because this is not going to work?
So let me ask you this, mechanic. So then what you're saying is the win, even Teron Armstead coming back, those were all popular decisions, good decisions or whatever, but they're bad moves then. Because look at what we're getting out of time. Because if that's the foresight of the GM, past, present, future, we should have never went back with Armstead. But then what kind of conversation?
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is those same moves, you didn't have a plan B for them. The plan B wasn't good enough that you took in back in the year 2019 to 2021 that are still here that you transferred and that are still not good enough.
Right. So but Mike McDaniels, when he came here, looked at that and said, "Oh, okay."
I get it.
Went to this and was like, "Whoa!"
So at what point, where's
you gotta find?
You gotta
find out. You gotta find out who in this draft decided that we didn't need guards.
Exactly.
And
where's the foot down?
Whoever made that decision is the one that's in the hot seat. We don't know whether that.
But then it goes back to Liam and what's his name? And does that go back to the beginning of the season? Because then I would say that's on Mike. Because Mike, the same one,
Mike said he wanted to keep Robert Hunt
for 3 years.
Mike wanted to keep Robert Hunt.
Mike also kept Skyler for 3 years, knowing he was.
I don't care. Listen,
now we don't care about that.
I don't care about
that's the more egregious offense this season.
No, it's not. Imagine
so what was the more egregious offense?
Robert Hunt hasn't missed a snap this season.
What was the more egregious offense?
Robert
the backup quarterback or the right guard position?
Robert Hunt.
No. You're not asking the question.
Robert Hunt.
What was the more egregious offense?
Robert Hunt.
So it's the guard position.
Right guard. I think it's right. You know why? I say that? Because
hold on, let me say this before you say this. Because I guarantee you that Tua does not miss a game with Robert Hunt in this line, bro.
And another reason is that Mike McDaniel took accountability and ended up pushing out Skylar Thompson. Even though he played him for those games, he did not continue to play him, and we got Huntley. And you see now that Skylar Thompson is flushed out to the point he's back in practice squad. Huntley is going to probably be quarterback 2 next year.
Time out. Imagine Huntley. Imagine if he had Huntley. What Robert Hunt back there?
But my thing is then that's absolving Mike McDaniels of being the head coach.
I'm not absolving
because
I'm not. What you gotta understand.
But then if Tua and Rob Hunt automatically fixes everything, even with Mike McDaniels, it's almost like saying same thing they say for Tua. Mike McDaniels got to have everything perfect for him to win. You got to have win. You got to have Tua. You got to have all these things perfect.
You really
so
don't.
then the same thing y'all say about Tua, you should say about Mike McDaniel.
Yo, my man, Tua is making this look good.
Isn't that my point I'm making?
To me, when Tua got his concussion, and he came back, he showed the league he's the most important player in the league, most valuable. He's the MVP of the league of the Dolphins. It might not be the league, but he's the MVP of the Dolphins.
When Tua came back,
the most important player, whatever you want to call it. But my situation, what I'm trying to get at is, look, if you have a guard, someone has to be held accountable for that decision. Whoever made the decision to pass up on a guard for the past 2 seasons, knowing damn well that we were going to need a guard, whether it's 2024 draft or 2023 draft, because in 2024 we drafted beautifully. Look at Patrick Paul, the future. He tried to tell me Cam Smith was the future, and he ain't doing nothing. You could have had something. You should have had something there. You should have had something. This franchise, someone has to be held accountable. Someone has to get fired. It has to be either Reggie McKenzie. Hold on. The Reggie McKenzie, the scouting department, the guy. You know how this works, French. When you're about to make $1 million decision, you bring the CEO, you bring the CFO, you bring the president, right? You bring the board of administration, you bring the board, and before you make that move. So everybody has to okay it. No matter how much you cloud it, you sell it, they all have to okay it. So I think there is more people in agreeing to what has transpired to be bad work than are people opposing it up there.
The money we're talking about signing when, let's just say we don't sign Waddle and maybe Tyreek, because then that's some of that money. Because
what? Say that again. I'm confused.
The money and extensions we gave Tyreek and Waddle, if that money goes to Robert Hunt at $26 million, you don't have that extra capital to then assign and extend these guys.
Well, here's my thing. Here's my thing with that.
But hold on.
Why didn't you sign Robert Hunt knowing that he was going to be the guy a year before his contract year? That's another issue I have with him. It was the same situation. You know what?
You know what the tough decision was to be made, and y'all might. It's gonna sound crazy for me because this is my dog. The right decision was to walk away from Austin Jackson and extend Robert Hunt, because you could have drafted Patrick Paul. You could have run another year with Kendall Lamb.
And it makes sense.
You could have really done that, and we're keeping it a buck, and we're being.
But then Wally, let's talk about that right there. Let's say going into that season, we walk away from AJ, and we sign Hunt, and now you're talking about Tua's blind spot coming.
No, he's drafted. You have his successor, and you drafted Patrick Paul, and you have a swing tackle for the first 2 seasons.
But is that comparing? You're talking about signing Hunt like you did a year before? Because the money that Hunt got and what Austin got is two different things.
It's comparable.
That's 20 versus 11.
It's comparable.
But hold on. The one thing I'm gonna say to that is these players know going into that year prior to getting paid. Same thing Christian Wilkins did. Christian Wilkins knew what it was, which is why he waited to sign his contract, because he said
I don't think that was the case for Hunt. I think the Hunt case, it was at the end of the season, his last year starting up. They offered him something, but he said he'll wait. Why don't you do it a year before that? You know he's good. You know he's gonna fit. You should have locked him in. You should have locked him in way before. But you didn't. You waited.
But what year was that, Mechanic? Let's talk about it. What year was that? Because I'm applying some pressure with this.
2022.
It was the year prior to that then. Because if you're saying he should have got his money prior to the year he wanted it, we're talking about the year prior to
2023 was his last year of the contract. So we waited after 2020. We waited after 2020. We waited the beginning of 2024 to make him an offer. He left and played and got his $20 million in 2024. We should have
What
signed him in
in
2022.
2022.
Yes,
But
exactly.
but my question to you is, what was happening in 22?
It don't even matter.
No,
Let's
it
get
does.
He
Because
was
that
with
was
the
also
he
Christian
was with the
Wilkins money.
offense. He was with this offense,
hold
and he
on.
was excelling.
Let's
That's
get
the
to
thing.
let's get to it. Let's get to it. Let's just say the Dolphins win out, right? You get to 9-7, whatever, whatever. You're the GM. Each you guys are the GM. What are you what are you restructuring? Let's not talk about we don't know who the other guys are. So we just is basically you're gonna keep the same combo. Are you chopping one off and adding something? What are you doing?
Combo of who? Of
Of
the five?
Mike and Chris, just those two.
There
Anything
has
outside of
to.
that, you don't look. I agree with there has to be
So
changes.
you're saying we're Tom Garfinkel.
Yeah, Tom Garfinkel. Yeah,
Because
you're
he's the
not.
one who would make that decision.
You're
He's over
not
Chris.
worried about the Reggie McKenzie's and the scouting department. Do you know
So
there's gonna be some changes there. There has to be changes there. But let's say
I,
who are you keeping? Mike and you keeping Mike and Chris? Mike or Chris? Both of them. What are you doing?
I'm keeping them both. Me, as Tom Garfinkel, I'm keeping them both. Because Chris Greer gave Mike the opportunity. And yeah, Tom also has the understanding, like you said, Wally, when they all go into those bigger meetings, he has the context of where Chris Greer was on some of this stuff and where he was when Mike McDaniels come in. So if that guard woe falls on Chris Greer to where Mike could look up and say, well, prior to me getting here, this is something you all told me that was woo woo woo, and it deems that to be the only reason this season was a failure, then you fire Chris Greer. But then you can't say that. So I, myself being Tom, tied them at the hip. And if I let one go, I'm letting them both go.
Ross also gave him that opportunity. So he should be indebted to Ross. He's the approval. He's the final say. So Mike McDaniel should say, yes, thank you, Ross, for allowing me to be here. And I tell you, if I need the pieces like I needed, we're going to make it. We're going to be great. And for me, I say all that to say, I don't mind Chris Greer staying. But if one has to go, it's Chris Greer. I'm sorry. That's it. If one has to go, it's Chris Greer. Mike, you stay. Get the guy that's going to work with you. That's going to get the guys you need in this offense to succeed. Specifically, O-line, specifically other issues that we need, defense, all that. So that's where I stand.
Listen, I've gone to every which way decision on this question. To me, you can't fire success, and you can't let 1 year of maybe deterring you from a plan get you off the main thing being the main thing. You could pick apart what you're doing. You could find, you know what I mean, you could find the errors and your flaws in your approach. But there's a reason why you're one of the 32 higher at an elite level, and you've been held this job for 20 years. So many of these GMs have one job and they end up in ESPN. They get fired, and you're over here in Fox if you right here looking for clickbaits. Chris Greer has had bad seasons and good seasons and been kept around because he's really damn good at his job. And you can sit here from your Twitter world, from your computer, from your house. Oh my God, Stephen Ross is old. He's an idiot. He's a billionaire. He owns a franchise. He owns multiple franchises. You don't own a damn thing, but you don't even own your cell phone. You're in a payment plan on your cell phone, my boy. So you got to understand how this thing moves. You could be here, yeah, fire them. Then you get a new GM, and you're over here crying that you're not gonna watch the games because you don't like this new GM, and why can't he work with Mike? Let's get rid of Mike. Let's draft another quarterback. Oh, I'm done with this team. I'm gonna wear a bag over my head. This is what you guys do, all to not do nothing and stick around, right? So if I'm Steven Ross and I'm a successful money tycoon. I'm gonna let the guy that got this to right here that it took a freak injury, which is a concussion, to deter me. I'm gonna see it through. Because you know what? If you fire Chris Greer, you know what's gonna happen? He's gonna get a job. You know how I know that the Chris Greer is really, really good at his job? His brother is the GM of a hockey team. It's in his genes, for crying out loud. If you fire Mike, he'll be the number one coach out there. Caleb Williams looking, please give me Mike. Please give me Mike. He'll be in Chicago Bears. He'll be anywhere he wants, in college, anything. So you guys that want to get rid of this, you guys have your points, and they're all valid. They're really, really valid. But they're not valuable enough to get fired.
And also, we can't talk continuity on the offensive line, and you don't want to give people the front office continuity and opportunity, because you're going to be wrong at times, but you also got to work through those wrongs.
Fire Mike, there goes Butch Barry, there goes Embry, there goes Frank Smith, there goes everybody, because they're not getting. Mike is taking his people.
All success is a bunch of failed attempts that worked. One of them worked.
French,
So,
you have a valid point about the continuity, but just like the O-line, you gotta if you need to retool it, you gotta retool it. And if Chris Greer is the retooling part where you have to take away and substitute, you gotta do it for the sake to end up getting a long-term success. So again, I'm with you. I'm with you on keeping him, to give him that one more shot, because when a dog is at his last bone, he's gonna do whatever it takes to save it, right?
And he'll be right.
So
he'll be right.
You know,
I mean, but to that same point, you could look at some of the acquisitions that Chris Greer has lined us up for, and the front office has lined us up for, and this is the best we've been in a while.
For sure.
So
yeah,
success always looks different at times. Like this is success. If you go back to the 03 Dolphins, if you go back from 04 Dolphins to 012 Dolphins and ask them what success looks like, this is what success looks like. We've got a franchise quarterback. We got a front office that gave us weapons to get it done. And like you say, I don't put this on the GM as much as I put it on the head coach, because Mike, like Tua, the quarterback touches the ball every drive. The head coach is the run, pulling the levers, specifically on the offensive side of the ball. And that's been a bigger problem this season. If the defense and the special team was abysmal all season, then you could put that more on Chris Greer and the front office. But if it's mainly been from the offensive side of the ball, that's your head coach, Pop.
I don't agree. I think it's a shared responsibility. You buy the groceries and you have to, but you buy.
We gonna act like the defense been perfect. You gonna act like the special team has been perfect.
It's been the defense been perfect more than the offense has all season.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
But you buy the groceries and you have to cook it. You cook what you got. I
ain't gonna hold you. I told you. But we French. Let's not be ignorant to the fact that we claimed this. We said this. The defense is going to be way better than the offense this year.
No,
that's cap. That's cap. You see what? You know what? Hey, take us out, mechanic. Take us out. We done. We done. You want to lie? Take us out. Take us out.
Episode 1. Everybody, I was the defensive guy.
Take us out. You wasn't a defensive guy.
I was the defensive guy. Y'all was the weapons. Where's Chad?
Okay, guys, we appreciate y'all for watching us tonight, man. Shout out to the viewers, man. Appreciate y'all. Don't let Fresh attack you for the lies he's talking about.
Listen, this
guys are blasphemous.
Listen, the cap you're wearing is the infamous of your word. That's cap.
Follow the brand on YouTube.
Go ahead and tweet Steeler for the Pro Bowl.
Also, that price pick, man. Cold word, keyword. Get on that fight. Get that money up, man. Don't let Fresh deter you, man. We appreciate y'all for listening to Inside Leverage, man. We out, man. Fins for the win, man. Jeez Louise, this guy.
Chris Greer, the new coach.
Wow.
He's the head coach.
There we go.
He's the head coach. He calling the plays up there. Y'all gonna let this man, the offensive side of the ball, been struggling like a spare tire on a Volkswagen, and y'all gonna put that on the GM Who bought you?
Who bought the groceries? Who bought it?
I'm tired. I'm getting
You
sick.
giving me
of it.
store brand without the quality brand.
But
You
I
giving me
told you how
store
much
brand.
money we had, and you said we was good at the Aldi's. Now y'all don't want Aldi's. Now
Listen,
y'all
all
wish y'all was at the
these,
Publix.
even though it's not an upper tier, it's about the selections, my boy. It's
Okay,
about the
so right,
selections.
Aldi's is about the selections. But if I'm taking you in there and I say, mechanic, buy what you want for the next 2 weeks,
Nah, that was not the case.
on a Friday, and then
That
on
was not the
Tuesday,
case.
you look at me and you tell me these groceries ain't sufficient.
That was not the
You told
case.
me all these was cool. We
You're
gonna
mixing
spend the
up.
dollar.
You're mixing it up. You're mixing it up.
See,
That was not the
no,
case.
y'all letting Mike McDaniels get away with robbery
We're not saying
and
that.
Hennessy right now, and it's not gonna fly.
No,
The
we're not
same way
saying
y'all
that.
try to let Christian Wilkins slide, and I put
No,
my
no,
foot
no,
down.
no. Listen,
Oh my
Robert
God.
McDaniels has his
Now
faults.
y'all are
He
telling me
has.
all these food
Man,
is no good.
listen. We are done. Good night, people. I'm done. I'm done arguing with this guy. Fins for the win. I'm not gonna say it again, man. Take us out. Please take us out, bro. Please take us.